I get this phone call and she's like, or text, and she's like, 400 pounds of ice cream, actually sorbet, and 78 saris, all because of miscommunication.
Yeah, and a 5-tier wedding cake to feed 50 people, not gonna happen. Oh God, this is gonna be good. She's got a story to tell, I can tell.
Today's episode is all about understanding people and communication.
That explains the sigh.
Miscommunication. So Jay, can you tell us the best time that you can think of when a miscommunication happened most recently?
Yes, actually. I mean, this is super recent, and to protect the identity of all the people that I hate. No, I'm just kidding. I don't hate anybody really and truly, but I say it a lot, but I don't really mean it.
It's a very unchristian thing.
Right, well, that's a whole other episode. But, so yeah. So, you know, as you know, Ange, in this industry, there are tons of details. And there are tons of opportunities to communicate with everybody involved. And there's lots of moving parts. And if you know anything about the event industry, you completely understand this. And I know you can feel us right now. All right. So I'm going to try to make this as relatable to the audience as possible, because this is the truth. Like,
it is.
And we've been doing this together for a very long time, just to give some people some background on this. So we pretty much know how our processes work. We work with an amazing team that know how the processes work. Like, it's almost so smooth and seamless that not without a lot of
trial and error.
Yeah, I literally don't want to say failures, but we did a lot of things wrong that we learned from, and then we changed and set forth standard operating procedures and implemented standard operating procedures, whether it was on site the day of the event or building up to the event. So the miscommunication has many opportunities to fail, or the lack of communication. And for example, one of the things that happened recently for us is we designed an amazing wedding cake for a client that we strive very hard to always meet the need of the client and always to clarify details. And this particular one, we had 2 separate details of whether flowers should be placed on the cake and who was responsible.
Real flowers or sugar flowers?
Exactly. You totally get where I'm going here. And you know nothing about this because this was not your wedding.
No, this was not. Because this wouldn't have happened in my wedding. Nothing like this would ever happen.
Well, no, because we
would know.
Well, so they didn't have a planner. Strike number 1. Okay? The value added for having a planner to avoid situations like this I can't stress enough how valuable it is to have someone like what Angela does and her team to create a seamless event. And no event is ever seamless. Nobody just knows what goes on behind the scenes, which is her job, so that you don't know. But the point is here, so there was no planner. I didn't even know, this is legit. I didn't know where I was delivering the cake until the day of. I didn't know who my contact person was because there was no timeline. I knew where. I actually knew where. I didn't know when I could get it in. And it's an event, it's a space that we've worked at before and plenty of times. So I'm texting the bride, which is never a good idea. Ever, 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 ever. I've been doing this a long time. I would never. And I said, I am so sorry, but I want to make sure that we are timely and that we deliver the cake on time. So, long story short, it wasn't clear if there was supposed to be sugar flowers, if there was supposed to be fresh flowers, who's placing the flowers, because sometimes the florists get a little crazy and it's more about the flowers than it is about the cake. And I like to maintain.
It's a compromise.
It is a compromise, and there's some floral folks that I work with that I completely trust 1,000%. And usually, if you have a good communication flow, you are sending sketches back and forth to each other. You are having at least one phone call with a floral designer or whatever that's involved, and typically it works out just absolutely beautifully. It does. This time it didn't. So this was the email. The cake was naked. I'm
Was
not
it a
gonna.
naked cake?
No, it was beautiful. But that was her wording. So she said it was just plain, and it wasn't plain. It was beautiful, and it was a great cake as far as I'm concerned, and for what I knew. But then I said, I'm terribly sorry that you are not happy, because it's not our practice to not make our customers happy.
Right.
We do everything, and you've known me long enough to know I am extraordinarily overzealous about making my clients happy.
Yeah.
I really am, and genuinely. And so I said, I'm terribly sorry that you weren't happy. What can I do at this point? And the communication back was, well, I would like a refund. And I said,
It's not your fault that the flowers didn't make it on the cake.
well, at this point, so this is a lesson. First of all, what do I tell you when it's a difficult conversation to have? What's the first thing I tell you to do before you respond?
Sleep on it.
Sleep on it. She knows. Really and truly, I had to learn this not to be reactionary.
Yeah.
Okay?
No react. Don't be
So
reactive.
I responded thoughtfully the very first time with, I want to research the issue. I want to clarify all the details, and I will respond to you thoughtfully. And that's what I did. It took me a couple of weeks because I really wanted to find out, was the cake good?
Yeah.
I kept in contact with the client. I said, did they eat the cake? So I contacted the venue. I verified that everybody was able to enjoy the cake that we served, and they did.
They
And
ate it all.
They ate it all. As far as the venue knew and the coordinator at the venue, everybody was happy. Nobody complained about it. So I was a little perplexed. I was like, well, okay, so let's look back at the paperwork that we have. And the paperwork stated there was no defined issue about, is there sugar flowers? We made a note about sugar flowers, but we also had a note about fresh flowers. But we didn't talk about who did it. Now, if we did sugar flowers, clearly we're going to do it. But there was no final vendor meeting. Mm-hmm. There was no clarification. We haven't met with this client for over a year. And so there's a lot of question marks there for us. Basically, regardless of whose fault it was, I thought it was goodwill because I didn't know and I couldn't determine for sure what really happened. I offered a refund for the cost of fresh flowers or sugar flowers.
Was
Either
she
one.
happy?
Actually, she wasn't.
Wasn't?
No. She came back and she said, well, actually, I was hoping to get at least half refunded. And I was like, but she's like, it's
They
really.
ate it all.
Well, she literally said, it's really hard to swallow. And I said, but actually, you did swallow the cake.
No pun intended.
No pun. But you did swallow it. You served it to. So I emailed back. I didn't say that, but I really wanted to. But I said, in all fairness, your retainer is for the prep and for your appointment.
So you educated her.
I educated the customer because I let her know that her first retainer that she paid over a year ago is for prepping, for staff, for samples, for tasting, for my time, for my assistant's time, for scheduling the appointment, all that stuff. The second half of the final balance for the immediate balance, or the final balance of the cake, is for production and labor and cost of goods and things like that. And I said, we actually delivered you the cake and you actually ate it and served it to your guests. And the response that I get from her is, well, I don't know if the cake was good or not because I never got any. So I don't know if we actually had enough servings to serve our guests. And I was like, okay, well, that's a whole different problem.
Not your problem.
Not my problem that you weren't organized or coordinated enough with your lack of a planner to make sure you got a plate full of food. Not my problem. But this somehow, so I'm very sensitive in the fact that I don't want to blame my customers, Ange, but at the same time, you need to take some damn ownership. And just like I took ownership with, you know what? Do you think it's fair that I actually refunded the amount of the flowers that was missing? I acknowledge that and I apologize.
That was nice.
I thought it was nice. But for you to ask for half of the money back is kind of egregious.
So what would you do differently? Like if you had to go back and if you could change it, or what have you learned so it can change your process in the future?
Well, let me tell you what I learned was, I don't think there's ever a moment when we aren't learning.
No.
Ever. And you know what I think it boils down to, Ange? I think it was buyer's remorse. I think they really, and I run into this a lot. And you know my growth, you know my development, you know my exposure. The more exposure you get, this is a great lesson. The more exposure you get, the more people expect from you. And they sometimes get unrealistic expectations in their head. And you do your very best to communicate with them effectively and to articulate and define everything that's going to happen. And sometimes you just can't.
There's a word, insatiable.
This was that. I mean,
Okay,
I don't
we
want to be too
learned.
crude. Yeah, I learned.
We learned. Should have said no.
I should have said no.
So,
Or no, I really, honestly, I have to be fair here with in this particular, because there's. Let me make sure we're clear about something. You've known me well enough to know off camera, like I have no problem like speaking my mind. And there are times when I absolutely recognize I should have said hell no, not just no. I should have said hell to the no. And I try to weed those folks out in the tastings. Like, I'm like, I can't. I'm not working with this person. And I'm fortunate to be able to do that now. But what I learned was there's always going to be insatiable people that you're going to have to work with every day. And no matter what you do, they're going to say, I really think that Jesus could have made this cake and she would have said, I need you to cut your hair and take off that dress. I mean, I don't think Jesus himself could have pleased her in some ways because I don't think it was about the flowers. I don't think it was about the cake being too plain. I just don't think that's what it was about because we gave them plenty of servings. From everything I learned, the cake was delicious. Everybody enjoyed it except her. Not my fault. So the message here is that you're always going to work with difficult people that's not 100% of the time going to be happy. So what my takeaway is, we had 500 other clients this year that were extraordinarily happy. And you're out of just the statistics alone, you're going to have a client that's not going to be happy. I mean, it's going to happen.
I feel like if you do your best and you know you gave it all you got.
Yeah. I did.
Then
I feel like I did in this
you
situation.
should be able to sleep good at night.
I can totally feel good about my decision and how I did not overreact to the situation, honestly.
Awesome.
Don't you think for me,
Yeah.
I've grown that much
Yeah.
about that? Because used to we would react like
smoke out of the ears.
Like
anyway,
she would call me at 2 a.m. just.
We won't go FaceTime. We won't go off on that tangent. So you shared a story with us about something, how miscommunication happened like the day of the event.
Oh my God, yes.
So with me and miscommunication, I try to really over communicate.
Oh, it's insane. Like
with
I
clients,
can attest to.
Like a year in advance.
I know. I've seen her timelines. If you could see it, like, if you don't know what's going on at one of her events, that's your own fault.
That is your problem.
That's your fault.
And you also, for you planners out there, I call it potty train your brain. You got to potty train your vendors because every time someone asks me or any of my team members, like, what time, I'm like, do you really think I memorize all this stuff? Like, there's so many details. Look at the timeline.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, again, I'm a vendor. I'm one of her vendors. I can attest that if you don't know what's going on at every single, literally down to the minute, you're being irresponsible.
Now, stuff changes, and that's why we have radios and we all communicate. But anyway, on the very, very beginning of the planning process, I use a psychology methodology to... Are you trying to multitask?
I don't know what
How dare you?
I was really trying to like silence it.
Well,
but
his phone's almost going to go dead, so
Fail.
we're just going to turn it off.
I'm sorry.
Okay, here we go.
Sorry, sweetheart.
So,
I'll try
what
to
I
do-
was saying is I have a psychology methodology that I use about communication and how to customize the message for how the client's brain is wired.
I'm just going to drink.
And he thinks this is like a bunch of BS. However, I will say...
Every time I think it's BS, I'm going to take a sip of wine. Go.
I don't care what you think.
I know you
because
don't.
it works. And
Out of mad love and respect for you, I allow you to.
it works. When I worked in mental health and all of my patients were closed up and they wouldn't talk to me, when I did this methodology, it made them open up to me because they didn't really have to read. It wasn't hard. It was a team effort. Anyway, so we do it as a team. And I pull out the cards and people are like, are you going to read my palm?
Voodoo.
And I'm like, I'm not a tarot card reader or whatever you call it.
Kinda.
No, I went to school for psychology. So here, I'll just give you a very
That's the
quick
ironic part
rundown.
about this.
I'll give you a quick rundown.
You know
okay?
I'm going to give you bullshit about this.
Of course he is, because he
I
doesn't
have for
believe
like
in
5 years. Yeah, I think it's bullshit. But whatever.
Whatever.
If it works.
I'm on year 16,
I'm
and
drinking.
this is how we're all happy around the company. Anyway, so there's 4 types of personalities, and there's all types
Wait,
of.
so this is a good chance. Tell them what I am.
Well, you're
She did-
definitely orange.
What does that mean, though?
Okay, well, let me explain to you first. So the 4 types, there's gold, which is your type A. So,
I'm not.
Right. So your type A clients are going to walk in with a notebook. It's going to be color coded. It's going to be in alphabetical order. They're probably already going to have their contracts in order.
Shoot me in the head, Wardale.
And no, it's good because they know what they want.
I know, but they're also pain in the ass.
Well, but you have to manage that expectation, and if you manage the expectation to let them know, hey, things are going to happen and you're not going to be in control, and you've got to trust me as the planner to take care of it for you. So that's gold.
And you're very good at that. Because
Patient.
yeah, we've seen some really
Patience.
specific examples of that.
You
too.
just have to remember, don't ever take anything personal, because you never know what's going on with people or what's going through their head. And so when someone honks the horn and flicks me off, I just wave and smile, and I'm like, I'll pray for you. Like maybe you were beaten that morning or something. Like that really happened to one of my patients. Anyway,
Oh.
Next is blue.
This shit really happens.
And the blue is your sensitive clients, and your sensitive clients.
That would be me. I'm very sensitive.
No, they want your opinion because they want to be validated. So if you're happy and mom's happy and dad's happy and groom's happy and the guests are happy, they're going to be happy.
I hate
So
those
but
clients.
they really can't make a decision. They really need your guidance. They need hand holding.
They need coddling.
Yes, they need a lot of coddling.
It's
they
exhausting.
Cry. You know, so
Lord.
it takes a little bit of therapy there. From a good side, because I, like when mom, dad, groom, like leave the room, I'm like, I don't care what they want. What do you really want? And it takes a lot to get out of them.
And that is a legit thing.
See?
Like, that's a legit thing.
Keep on drinking. Keep on drinking. Okay, so the next one is green. Green, it doesn't mean like green as in you're new. So green in the methodology that I love is that they're very analytical. They only usually care that they're getting a good value
So
and
they
what
don't
the
care about-
numbers and the cost.
And they don't care about the details. I mean,
No, they do.
They care about the details, but they want to make sure the details are equated to the cost and the value of what
Right,
they're getting,
and it's
right?
super annoying because most of our clients like wouldn't ever nitpick apart a rental order because they don't do this every day.
Oh, well, we had that
And
done.
when they do, they're like, why do we pay $2.99 for salt and pepper shaker when I can get one at Harris Teeter or Kroger for 99 cents? I'm like, that's because you're having a seated dinner that is quite expensive per person, and we're going to have crystal.
But why does anybody question that when they're
Right?
not professionals?
Right. So,
I mean-
just kidding, but I have to be patient. And by the way,
You're a
most green
saint.
people,
You have an escalator straight
well,
to
my
heaven.
mother is a saint. So green people, though, typically don't hire planners because they think they can do it on their own by researching on the internet. And I'm just saying, you're not going to read all the good stuff on the internet. And a lot of the stuff that I teach and lead and educate my clients with, you're never going to read it on the internet, and I will never ever put it in an email, ever. Okay, last but not least, the 4th kind is orange. And
I don't know
so,
what that means. I'm
my
excited
hair's
to
on
see.
you.
I'm excited to see what that means.
Okay, so orange, typically we get labeled as ADHD. It's like squirrel, squirrel, squirrel.
Truth.
We can't pay attention.
Okay, so truth there. Okay,
it's really hard to keep them on task with agendas.
I'll toast to
And
that.
so I'm never going to email them a to-do list with deadlines. The word deadline, that's not in their vocabulary at all.
Pause. So let's just go behind the scenes just for a 2nd
Uh-huh.
with their show here. I've not done any homework. Like, she's the taskmaster.
So
I'm
when
living-
we were talking about this the other night, and I'm like, okay, producer Zane, and okay, partner Jay, and we like pull it up, and I'm
Co-star.
like,
I want to be co-star.
co-star. Sorry, star.
Let's not get
okay,
crazy.
star, co-star. What did I say? What did I call
Partner.
him? Partner. Oh shit, his partner is in bed. Anyway, so.
Hey.
He's
so cute.
Whatever.
Wait, see, ADHD.
He's
I'm
very
orange.
cute. Oh wait, we're totally going on topic here. Okay, so orange, it's really, really hard to keep them on task. However, the most important thing to them is fun and entertainment.
Whoop.
So if I'm like, people will be hanging from the ceilings and
See?
the walls, and like we can have different this and different that. Like they're like, here's some money, I'll see you in a year. And I'm like,
I
oh,
love
no,
those.
no.
So now I know why I love those customers.
Right.
Oh my God.
They give you creative
Can I
freedom.
have
However,
all orange people come and order cake?
So when you're orange, you typically attract the type of people that you are.
I'm not attracted.
Okay, well then we need to change your process because we pre-qualify to ensure that we are getting a good balance and the right client.
But wait, there's not enough orange people like to keep me in business.
Well, I got plenty of orange people. Now, let me go back. Everyone has all four colors. However, you have a dominant, a brightest color, and you have a palest color.
Am I the brightest?
You're the best. You're the brightest. And I could go on and on about this and talk
Oh,
about
she could
it
talk for
forever.
days.
Because I went to school, their little university, for a whole week and had to learn and get certified to become a facilitator and a trainer for them. So anyway, that's how I start off. Drink your wine. That's how I start off with my communication process. And you know what? My clients typically love it. And when an argument happens, because opposites attract, typically, for your first marriage at least.
First marriage?
Well, let's just be honest. The second time around, you usually kind of know what you
I don't
want
ever-
and what you don't want.
I don't ever get to do a second wedding cake. I'm just saying. Like, there's only been one customer in 26 years. I've actually done like 3 wedding cakes for her.
Oh, well, I've had a few repeat clients. And they're like, don't tell so-and-so.
Whatever.
I know, whatever. Anyway, so if you can use some type of personality strategy or anything like that to pre-qualify your clients to make sure they're the right client and the good fit for you.
That's where it's okay to say no. Because if they're not a good fit
Not
for
a good
you,
fit.
let me tell you something. From experience from both of us, in full perspective and honesty here, how many times have you and I had that conversation at 3 in the morning and said, we should have said no?
We should have said no.
Yeah, because you know why? Do you know why? Because in the end, you are going to wind up spending way more time than you should have if you'd have just said no in the beginning.
Let me tell you, people, this industry is not about the money. It's not.
Oh, hell no.
You can make a living if you...
No, you can't. Not in cake.
Well, you can if you... have a great
If you got a
business
sugar daddy.
manager. Okay, if you have a great business manager and a great business structure and you actually follow it. The problem is that 98% of the people in our industry, they're passionate, they love people, and they just want to help. And so then they do shit for free, like I did for so many years until I got a good manager and was like, you can't do that anymore. You don't have a money tree.
So many times, I used to tell her, oh my God, let's divide your time spent by the hour.
Keep it up.
Like, I was like,
Keep up with your time.
holy shit.
Crazy.
Did I not say that to you one time?
Yes,
I mean, how many
multiple
times?
people.
Yeah, and I was like, Ange, my God, because she gives such amazing, crazy, amazing. So we have. So
a cat.
let's just be honest.
Anyway, next.
We have a kitty cat here.
Okay, I had to move on because we only have a certain amount of time.
I'm sorry.
And there's another thing that I have to tell you.
Oh,
okay.
let's do
so
it.
when you're trying to pre-qualify people, there's this method called the mirror method. Have you heard of it?
Can we do it?
We're gonna do it. So
this is gonna be good.
So
what do I do?
when someone says something like really crazy, for example, it's like, so I have this picture and I want this 5-tier wedding cake.
Okay.
So, and I have 50 people coming. So then you repeat me and you mirror.
So let me just get this straight. You only have 50 guests coming, but you want a 5-tiered cake that actually, in reality, feeds 350 people.
Right. So he mirrored me and then told me I was stupid, but without saying I was stupid, he's like, he educated me. A 5-tier wedding cake
doesn't
feeds 350 people. So wait, so then if I was the client, I was like, wait, a 5-tier wedding cake feeds 350 people?
Yes, it does actually.
So I read this thing online about you where you do like these fake things. Like, can't you do something fake and just whip it up real quick?
Well, there is something called.
You gotta mirror me.
So you want me to do a fake cake for you and only feed 50 people?
Maybe. And so you kind of see his reaction, like, you dumbass, you're asking me to do this, but he's not calling me that. He's just mirroring me. So anyway, that's mirroring when you're repeating people. Try it with your spouse. It's really fun.
Thank God people can't get in my head when I'm
Anyway,
doing tastings.
but mirroring, because I did my notes, it's all about clarification and understanding. Okay, a few other things for communication, because I like to give little nuggets, golden nuggets.
Oh my God. I'm going to drink.
So I love doing an annual promo, meaning like every year capturing, we budget X amount of dollars every year to have video and pictures and things captured by somebody from our team, so we don't have to rely on other people. I learned that the hard way. And by doing an annual promo, it shows people
I think she was
what
throwing
we
shade
do
there.
behind the scenes. Huh?
I think you were throwing shade.
What does that mean?
Like, because you had to rely on other people, but you couldn't.
No, not to you.
No,
like
I know.
Photographers and like video
That's-
people who don't know what the hell
I
they're
didn't.
doing.
Hey, clarify. I didn't say it was about
And
me.
when they look through the camera, I'm like, that candle's not lit and that fork is not straight. And anyway, there's my OCD-ness. Anyway, so the other thing that you should do, from experience, this works really well.
I can't wait to hear this.
If you save your voicemails throughout the year, I use an app, free app called YouMail, and you can put a little folder and save your crazy ass voicemails. And then
This is the
you
best.
edit them all together at the end of the year, and it's like, this is my life. So when people are like, you cost how much? And I'm like, would you work full time, be on call for someone 365 days a year, 7 days a week? So we have this, our next topic and section.
This is my favorite.
favorite.
I just have to say, this is my favorite segment. We're going to do this segment every episode where we're sorry.
Not sorry.
Not sorry. We're sorry, not sorry. And if you know,
Is that from SNL?
It's kind of, I think
Sorry,
that,
not sorry.
It could be from the
What
Jay
is
and Angie.
this?
Sorry, not sorry. I just want to be a little catty about it because I'll be honest with you. There are some times when I should be sorry, but I'm not sorry. And from our experience,
We're going to tell you why.
we're going to tell you why. And it's going to be every episode. And this episode, I'm going to let Ange tell you a scenario where sorry, not sorry is very applicable.
Yes, so I'm sorry for myself, actually.
Aww.
Oh my gosh, there were so many emails back and forth and back and forth.
Which is a no-no.
I took on this client for multiple reasons. It was one of my vendors that I've worked with for a long time. It was a friend of his, and it was gonna be in Nashville, but then they changed it, so it ended up being a destination wedding in the hometown of the bride.
Was I involved?
No, you were not involved because the friend of the mother.
This is the famous last words. Go ahead.
So I normally don't do this, and every time I veer from my process,
It fails. Well, it's
I
difficult.
get it bad. It's just bad. And so, I have those mothers sometimes that really want to be in control, and that's okay. Like, I can
Mothers
roll
wanna
with
be in
it. I can roll with it, but this was different. And I saw it coming, just like in the meetings and in the emails. And so when it came to timeline day, she was halfway respectful because she knew she didn't know what she was doing. So when it came time for me to do the timeline and get all the vendors together and all of that, let's just say over 50% of the vendors were her friends. Now, I will say, like the florist was a real florist. She had a cute little shop.
The bride's mom's friends
in
were
their hometown.
And they went against the grain of what you suggested.
Right, which we didn't use my design team.
This is going to be great.
I volunteered. Oh my God. This is when you just have to say no. So long story short, because let me get to the really, really bad part. I do the timeline for a reason. And the mom... Okay, let me back up. There was this thing called Derby Weekend, which is like a super crazy busy weekend. And so the vendors contacted the mama because they're friends, right? Like, screw what the planner just emailed. with the timeline that took me 20 hours to put together because it was out of my norm. And they're like, hey, can we just drop off all the rentals and the furniture and store it in your garage since it's at your house?
I can totally see
And
where this
then
is going.
we show up to set up the next day a little, early. And I'm like, who's going to put all this stuff out? Who's going to set up the floor plan? Who's going to put all the tables and the chairs?
She didn't contract with you to do all that, right?
No!
Oh.
That is not what we do. That is not what we do. So, you're not doing a sorry segment this one.
No, I'm not going to do one this time because I'm excited about this. I'm going to negate my sorry, not sorry this time because I really want to hear where this goes because this is getting good. I might even need a refill for this. Let's do it.
So, I'm not going to go in and ask the dad and the groomsmen to come out and help us move the shit because I'm just not like that. So it's me, 2 other girls. One of my girls has a really bad back. I kind of have a bad back from gymnastics, but boy, did I have a real bad back the next day. So I'm just grinding my teeth, not saying anything, setting the shit up. Now, forget all the stuff that we were really supposed to be doing, like steaming the linens and checking on the bride and going to the church on time. And
she's still hot about it.
oh my God, it makes my blood pressure boil. And I just can't even tell you all the things in my mind. Well, so for example, I'm about to leave to go to the church when one of my girls already went and opened the church and there was like a whole fiasco over there. I'm about to leave. When I leave, if I even leave the party to go to the church, which oftentimes I don't because I mostly care about the party because that's where the people are spending their money. And the cake wasn't done. The flowers weren't put on it. There were a bucket sitting down there the day of. So I'm like, I cannot leave here without, so I took it upon myself to fix it.
Did you decorate the cake?
I did. I mean, I knew how to do it. So, but the mom complained. Okay, so anyway, so the day goes on. There were awful things that happened. Like, there's all this miscommunication behind the scenes. Like, my girls were supposed to be moving things. The dad's screaming at the DJ. The DJ's his friend, so the DJ's listening to him and not us. And it's like, who's on first? Who's in charge here? There needs to be one mommy. And so after that, and the bride and groom get announced before they were supposed to get announced, and they walked into a cheese and fruit spread table that needed to be moved before the first dance.
You probably didn't even know about it,
I just stood there. No, I was on the other side of the house, and I heard the DJ announce, and I'm like, what the hell is he doing? And I run over there, and I just stand there, and then they look at me like, why is the table there? And then uncomfortably, me and my 2 girls walk out there, and we pick up a table and move it while everybody's staring at us. And then I'm like, where's the photographer? And where's the video team? Because, that needs to be ready too. Okay, I'm getting really hot. So at this point,
I can tell.
I feel so not needed, and I have plenty of staff there because, by the way, for free, I called up 2 extra girls because I could see everything that was coming because we couldn't just leave everything out there at the end of the night. And it was like a 3.5 hour drive.
Well, and you know what? Just to interject here, people don't realize that you were there all day setting up, decorating, all this stuff. Well, then who's going to clean it all up? So now you've got an 8-hour shift that turns into a 16-hour shift because everybody else just leaves and just thinks that some magical fairy is going to come in and clean it all up.
So I was no longer needed. I left. My girls could run it, and they're like, are we supposed to put and pick up all this heavy furniture, all the tables, all the chairs? And I'm like, nope, not in our contract, not our job. If it rains, not my problem.
Because nobody pre-agreed to that, did they?
No, that is not our job. That is my rule of thumb. You put it down, you pick it up. That's
and you should pick it up in compliance to the venue's rules. Right, and that's up to you.
When you're at a private home,
there are no rules.
There are no rules. So anyway, long story short, I leave the next day. I go out of town to a great conference. I'm actually out of the country, and I get this rude voicemail of, I am just flabbergasted at the way you acted, and you're so unprofessional. And like, I just couldn't even call her back because I was out of the country. For real.
Don't react, though.
So then, because I didn't respond, I get a long email of like, So then I'm like, okay.
By the way, I'm looking at the email.
Yeah.
It's
good.
Like,
I have my little business groupies where I'm like, okay, we all bounce ideas off of each other. I'm like, did I do something wrong here? Yes, I did. I should have never agreed to take on the client in the first place. Yeah. When I saw it coming, I should have either nipped it in the butt and not played my sweet little self like I am.
But you are always too nice.
I know. People tell me that.
No, but the thing is, she lets it fall over into like her real personality is just a really genuine, great person, but she lets that fall over into her business, which also
is not good.
It's a catch-22 because it makes you excited. I mean, it makes you genuine, but it also is really a caveat for your failure.
And bite you in the ass. So anyway, we went back and forth with you, but I would not call her back. I actually asked my attorney because I'd never had like this happen where somebody was so angry.
It's always a new day.
And so finally I was just like, I'm so sorry that I didn't execute the wedding day the way you wanted it. I did the best that I could, and I should have never have been your planner because you seem to have had it under control. And finally, after I said that, like, she laid off, and she did pay her balance, which was nice. I have had a few people not pay their balance. But anyway, I don't know if it was good to go back and forth or if I should have just picked
Well, you
up
know
the
what I
phone.
always say?
What?
I mean, the less you say, the better. Like a fish that doesn't
Yeah,
open
less
his
is
mouth.
best.
A fish that don't open his mouth doesn't get caught.
So, I'm not sorry that they had a bad experience.
But you're sorry that you
No,
took the
no.
job.
I'm very sorry I took
See?
the job.
Sorry, not sorry. I told you this was going to
But
come
I'm
around.
not sorry they had a bad experience or whatever she calls it because they didn't follow my process.
And you weren't in control to make sure or to
Nope.
ensure that they actually had a great event. So, because if they had followed your process, I can attest to this firsthand. They would have had an amazing event. Everything would have went really smoothly.
Yep.
People would have come and picked up the
Yep.
furniture that was
the way it should be.
the way it should be.
Next, we're going to talk about a few trends or things that are coming up and say if we like it or we don't like it.
I think this is like my second.
I do or I don't.
I do or I don't.
Okay, so.
First topic. Do you want me to read it?
Well, go ahead.
So first topic.
Go ahead.
So, this is the topic. Guests bringing kids to the wedding. I mean,
It ain't no place for a little kid. All the money and all the planning, absolutely not. Get a babysitter.
hateful.
Next. Oh, naked cakes.
This is even worse because, like,
It's a trend.
So the first thing that people say though is, "Oh my God, this cake is dry." Well,
No
guess what?
shit.
You're setting up
There's no
with a
icing.
naked cake. It's naked. It's literally drying out by the second.
No,
Down.
especially if it's outdoors.
Let's be official. Okay.
Paper flowers? No. Actually had a bride try to make it. She
Can we-
used to work for you, and it was cute. It was cutesy.
Was it?
It was cutesy, but
She just told me who it was, and I was like, "Oh."
So designing sight unseen, meaning like destination. Would you design a cake for a destination wedding that you've never been to if you can't do a site visit?
You would?
I do it all the time.
Well, that's true.
I plop down in Nevis 3 days early.
Look how conservative I am right now.
Oh my God.
Like I'm not normally,
It is.
but
I'm up for the challenge.
normally I would
It's
be.
not ideal.
So let me.
It's
Just-
not ideal, but
It's
when
not
you have
ideal.
to,
So I did it
you
once for a photo shoot for Grace Armand.
And how did
like
it work?
in Dominican, and it was
challenging.
yeah.
Okay.
So we were asked by our producers what our favorite island was.
What's
What
your
our
favorite?
My favorite island is. I mean, ironically enough, it's Dominican. Even though
I
that
don't
was
like
a,
Dominican.
That was a. You don't? Why?
I've had some
Like,
bad experiences.
so let me just say, so my experience was I literally thought I was gonna like peep around and see the devil peeping around a palm tree. I swear to God, I've never been so hot in my whole freaking life. Literally, like I got so sunburnt, my forehead was purple.
A Dominican?
Yes.
But that's your favorite island.
I love it. It was so.
It's too close to the equator.
What you said.
Yeah.
Like it literally, like I swear to God, the devil was one step in front of me.
Well, when something bad happens to you, people pretend as if they cannot speak English. And so when I went to the Dominican the first time, they lost my luggage and they pretend they couldn't speak English. Then I ate bananas and I didn't know those plantain things and I didn't know it was bananas. I'm allergic to bananas and I didn't have my allergy medicine and they lost my luggage.
But can I
and
tell
then
you-
my throat closed up.
I didn't know. How did
Yes.
I know this?
And
Okay.
they put me on a bus and took me to a pharmacy at a mall.
In
and
Dominican?
In Dominican, and I didn't know what I was taking. It was terrible. Anyway, the second time
Wait,
I went.
but can I tell you this? So,
Yes.
having said it's my favorite place, it's literally one of the. I'm gonna throw some shade.
Whatever.
Like, it's literally one of the worst experiences I've had as an invited guest to be a part of a photo shoot for a really, really high-end magazine. This bitch that invited us, I said, you a bitch. I still ain't over it. I'm just saying to you,
Clearly.
like literally, you were supposed to pay for my room and my board and all my shit, but you didn't. This is my show, right? This is our show?
Yeah.
We can do whatever we want. Okay, this is my chance. I never thought about this.
This is
Dominican
J.
is absolutely amazing and beautiful, but like they serve me spaghetti and fucking toast for my dinner. While everybody else.
That's really kind of fattening.
But wait, no, okay, let's just talk about this. You know Robert?
Evans, yes.
Yeah. Oops, we're gonna probably unleash who this.
She's not in business anymore.
No. Oh, she's not?
Nope.
So you figured out who I'm talking about, aren't you?
I know who you
Oh,
are.
anyway, Robert is, I love you, Robert, like with all my heart, seriously, and respect
We'll
you
tag
totally.
you.
We will tag you. But I'm just saying, while you were enjoying your steak, this
At a five-star
bitch
restaurant
at a
was
five-star
eating spaghetti
this
and
bitch
bread.
was eating spaghetti with butter noodles and toast. I had a moment. Let me finish off the wine just for that moment.
Woo! My favorite
You know, right?
My favorite island to date, and I've been to
I know
a
what
lot,
it is. I already know what it is.
is Jumbie Bay
Yeah.
in Antigua, for lots of reasons.
Is it Antigua or Antigua?
Antigua.
Antigua, okay.
Yeah, whenever people say Antigua, they're like, there's no "wa" there. It's so funny.
From the South.
But just the customer service there and the property and how
Yeah.
they take care of you. And
Will you take me?
I hope so one day.
I wanna go.
We're supposed to do a mastermind group there talking about books and podcast. Anyway, so it's small, it's intimate. There's no cars, there's golf carts and bikes, and it's just very relaxing. Now, if you're looking for like a club place, is like not the place to go. But in terms of like customer service and just beauty and things like that, it's one of my very, very, very favorite places. So, something random, because I don't really watch TV. I think it's a complete waste of time.
It's not.
Okay, well, whatever. So, 2 shows that people have said, like, Ange, you would really love this, like
Oh.
Netflix thing.
And I think you and I agree on one, right?
Well, we might agree on both.
I can't wait.
Okay, so I grew up very, very, very differently from probably.
Yeah, I'm white trash. She ain't.
Well, not just that, but like, I mean, the stuff that my dad did, like undercover, it's just like people tell me I've lived in a bomb shelter, whatever that means. But this show called Breaking Bad. And so,
favorite.
like, you know, while I was like working and things like that, like I would actually pay attention, and I loved it. And then it ended, but like, it was like 10 years old by the time I saw the episode.
Well, she watched it after it finished.
Way after
But
it
that's
finished.
okay. That's okay.
And now they have this prelude or whatever before the thing.
They do?
Yeah, it's like Better Call Saul. It's okay.
Oh,
it's a little
yeah.
slow.
This was before, though, the Breaking Bad?
It's called a prelude, which I
Because
don't
Saul was one of the main...
Yes,
Char-
but anyway,
Ah.
so that if you're like into like drugs and like craziness and like just live on your edge and people fall through the ceiling because they rotted their guts out with bleach.
I
like,
remember.
It's crazy
It's-
and like
it's-
it's on
it's-
the edge of your seat. Anyway, I loved it.
It's kind of like our jobs every week.
That's right. Oh my God, maybe that's why I was so into it.
I truly feel like I am literally falling through a bathtub with rotting guts.
Okay, so, and I worked in a morgue.
Ooh, I
The
forgot
next
about
thing,
that.
random thing, is other show, and like that's all I have that's like random right now, is Ozark, where the
That's-
guy like launders money.
That's one of my favorites.
Well, I feel like that's some of my clients sometimes.
True.
And
We
so,
had a couple where we were like, where did that money come from?
yeah, I think that I don't think I know, like one of the guys is in jail. That's a whole nother story. But anyway, I just know that these things are real. And then I was teaching this class recently, and the guy was telling me how he's going to this new property. It's in Missouri or wherever the Ozarks are. And when he said it's like in the Ozarks, I'm like, oh my God, that's a real place? And he just looked at me, I'm like, you know the show. And he was like, you watch Ozark? Like,
She's not the
it's
best
not normal.
geography student, but that's okay.
What?
You're not the best geography student, but I
Where
love
is
you.
it?
It's Missouri. I mean, the Ozarks
Massachusetts,
are like...
it's an M word.
It is not Massachusetts.
Mississippi, anyway. So in It's an M state, okay? So anyway, the cool
This
part.
is why I love her ass, because she can fucking kill a damn timeline, but she does.
Don't ask me where I'm going. I'm just getting on a plane and going.
the best.
Anyway, so I'm like, oh, you're going to this property? Like the Ozarks are real? And he was like, yeah. I was like, have you seen that show? And then like we totally get off the wedding topic. But anyway, long story short, the whole cast
So you
stayed
liked
at
it?
his property when they were filming.
The legit property.
Yes, like the legit property.
See, that's exciting.
Yeah. So by me being relevant, a little behind, because I think the show was like a while ago.
No. It's only one season in.
Oh, so
yeah, you're good.
Come on, Ozark,
Hey,
bring season 2 because I need to see what businesses he's going
And
to get
is
in
on a pop culture
Okay,
train.
so what about you?
So my favorite obsession right now, and a little random fact about me, I actually kept hearing everybody talk about Stranger Things.
What's that?
Do you know about it?
No.
Okay, so it's another Netflix show.
Okay.
So we have that in common. And then so there's 2 seasons, and I kept hearing like all the daily talk show stuff and just everybody talking about every once in a while, you just hear Stranger Things. And I'm like,
I've never
what
heard
is
it.
all this? So anyway, I couldn't even I couldn't be distracted to not watch it. That's how good it was. So I watched season 1, and then I started season 2. I'm only on episode like 6. And
How many seasons are
there's
there?
only 2, and it's
Oh.
amazing. And they picked up from season 1 where now season 2. So anyway, I love Stranger Things.
He likes
and
fake things.
Maybe sometimes. I'm gonna wrap this for a second. First of all, I'm so excited to be able to do what we do and be able to have this platform, and I want to thank all of our people that are making this all happen, because
Thanks, Zane.
Yeah, thanks, Zane. I mean, we are a skeleton crew here, but we really have a lot of passion, as you can clearly see, and a lot of heart. And we're going to try to bring things to you with a little bit of fun and a lot of education every episode, and that's our goal.
Comment, and subscribe.
To Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. We are setting up all of our platforms. They're out there, and it's going to be Jay and Ange in some form or fashion. We want to keep this casual. We want to keep this light and fun.
Send us your questions. We'll answer anything for you.
I will literally, we will answer
anything.
absolutely anything.
Based on our experience. And I will say that
Completely transparency too.
this all came about because people were like, you guys work in this fake industry, and we don't want it to be fake. It's passion, and it's a business, and people make a living off of it. Some people struggle trying to make a living off of it.
Girl.
And so we are here to help.
And we have very different viewpoints, and that's the thing I want you to take away from our show, is that I approach things very differently than Angela does. And I think that's what makes this viewpoint and this show so interesting, is that Angela's going to approach the same topic very, very differently than I'm going to approach it. I may be a lot of tongue-in-cheek about the way I approach things or the way I react to things, but honestly, and Angela knows this, I'm a self-made entrepreneur that has worked tirelessly to create a brand and to share what I do, and you've done the exact same thing.
We were both in corporate America.
We were both in corporate, so we have a lot of perspective, and what we want you to take away from our show every episode is just if you get one single iota. Gold nugget. She loves the word gold nugget. But if you get one thing that you can take away and utilize in your daily life or in your business, then we won. Okay, so
it's not a waste of time.
It's not a waste of time.
I don't like to waste my time, and I don't want to waste your time.
And
I'm the time queen, productivity queen.
And let me say this. You're going to see a prime example of 2 people who may not agree on every level, and we think very differently. But let me tell you one thing. I have an incredibly mad respect for you, and you know that. This is probably the only human that knows anything personally and professionally, everything about me, right?
We got no secrets.
We got no secrets, and
we sleep in the same bed when we travel together.
Honestly, we've peed in front of each other, so let's just
he's like my brother.
It's truly
TMI.
So the thing, no, it's not TMI. I think it's legit. Like I think it's
legit.
Real stuff where you're going to see 2 real people give you the truth to what it's all.
When we were younger, he's like, "Don't come in the room for an hour." Like,
oh yeah,
I hope you're just taking a shower.
That's all I'm doing. I'm taking a shower. So I just want to tell you, Ange, this has been an absolutely amazing experience, and I'm so excited that we're about to wrap on our first episode of the Jay and Ange Show.
Me too. We have lots in store.
Oh, you guys are going to want to follow us. You are going to want to tune in
Not miss it.
every so often to see what we have to say.
And next week, tell them.
Oh my God. So this is one of my favorite topics. We are going to talk about hobbyists versus making money. So
And the funny thing is we both did it.
as hobbyists.
For years.
Forever as hobbyists.
Not forever.
And, well, it felt like forever.
Not me. You surround yourself with the right people. Anyway, that's
We'll get into that.
episode.
I'm sorry to talk over you.
We do it all the time.
But
anyway,
I just want to tell you.
Next week. We'll see you next week.
I'm so excited. I
Me
love
too.
you. I love you.
Love you.
We'll get drunk together every week. Won't that be cool?
What?